Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined here as always by my partner in crime, Sam Snyder from Primetime Sports Talk, and this is another episode of Jungle Talk. And I believe that because we weren't here on Sunday, I didn't want to risk the treasured horn, victory horn on the road trip, so I did not take it to Vegas. It did not get blown, but you at the preview episode get to see the victory horn blown. So there you go.
I knew you'd be horny when you got back to Los Angeles.
There you
Mark.
go. So you're supposed to be horny in Vegas. So, but that's another story. So before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. So that's we just
turn on those notifications.
Hit the bell. You'll know when new episodes go up. We're doing this one a day earlier. I know on Sunday I said Thursday, but I forgot about Turkey Day, and so we decided, hey, let's get this done tonight. So
comment down below, baby. Comment down below.
One of the things I forgot to mention, and this is it's not football related at all, but one of the nice things, we got Sammy Hagar was our halftime show. I mean, only in Vegas will they get, hey, send this guy out. He'll sing. He sang three two Hagars or two Van Halens and a Sammy Hagar song. But only in Vegas we don't get the dogs chasing frisbees. We don't get any high school marching band. We get Sam, and they have two rock bands, one at each end of the stadium that are slightly different. One has strings, one has horns, and so they do different songs. But so he's up with one of the bands, but only in Vegas do you have bands at each end of the stadium. Sammy Hagar at halftime. So
not to mention Buffer doing the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" before the game starts.
Only in Vegas. So that was really cool. If you didn't get a chance to catch it, go catch our recap. We both had the pleasure and the honor of being at the Vegas game, and it was worth every minute. Just fun trip home.
Absolutely. Check that recap out. It was a lot of fun because Mark and I were actually in the same room for once for probably the first and only time this season.
Yeah. Now we're back in LA and Cincinnati, but there
we had the Eiffel Tower at Paris behind us. It was great.
Right. Yeah. Now my room, I stayed at the Cosmopolitan. My room had a view of Allegiant Stadium, but Allegiant Stadium is a smaller built structure and it's behind another big building, and we would have had to pick up the camera and point it out where the Eiffel Tower was so obvious we didn't have to do anything.
Right. Yeah, you got to do it.
We'll shoot the recap at Bally's and not at the Cosmo. So
what a great trip. I mean, I was there for 7 days, but I'll tell you what, I felt like I was there for a month. That's what Vegas will do for you, whether you're winning or losing. It takes a lot out. So after about 6 days, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm pretty much ready to go at this point."
Yeah, I was only there for 46 hours. I actually landed at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and I was on a plane at 9 o'clock on Monday. So 46 hours, but it was a jam packed, and I'm got 1 night's worth of sleep over both nights. So, but that's Vegas. So
check out that recap, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, and I will try to go through. I put Mixon's touchdown on the LA Bengal fan Facebook page. That was from our seats right there. We were on the second level, right above the luxury boxes, but we were only 6 rows up. So we had a really nice vantage point. So
great.
Go ahead and check that out. Check that out. And I'll try to get more. I've got a lot more footage. I just have to go through them and then upload them, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But I'll try to go through them. If we put up more videos, they're going to be on the LA Bengal fan Facebook page. So you should already be there and liking that. Awesome. Let's do as we always do. We're going to talk about things we don't feel good about and things we feel good about. I'll start with the bad. We always start with the bad, but there's a few things, and I'll just run through. I've got 4 things I don't feel good about. TJ Watt being back. I know we want to have him at full strength, but you know what? I would take the pass. And they're a completely different team. You saw the Chargers, although the Chargers played the Steelers back into the game on Sunday night, you saw the Chargers how easily they put up points and throw the ball when Minka Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt are not in the game, and Joe Hayden. Hayden did not practice today. TJ Watt did. Fitzpatrick didn't. So we're going to have to see how things play out. But I have TJ Watt. Steelers are pissed and hungry. I mean, they do not want to get swept, and this would be 3 losses in a row. They've already lost back-to-back in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. This would be the hat trick for us. Our O-line, we seriously struggled against the off defensive line of the Raiders. We had problems. I think one of our commenters on the recap said he thought it was Riley Reeve. We thought it was a Denijay. Whatever the thing was, we gotta fix that, because they're just going to keep moving Watt over to the soft spot, and he's going to get in, and he is disruptive. And then the other thing I'm worried about is the Steelers play dirty. Did anybody see that video of Cam Hayward punching? Was that Herbert on the ground? And he was throwing like a body shot into his chest, into his stomach. They play, and NBC said nothing. The refs didn't throw a flag. I mean, we have to see that stuff.
Yeah, how do you just ignore it? How do you just ignore it? Like, if you're calling the game, how do you not say a word?
I worry about Joe. I worry about Joe in this game, and I mean Burrow.
Well, especially because, like you said, they're going to come out hungry. So if that's what they were when they were only sort of hungry, what the hell are they going to do to our quarterback when they are in kind of, desperation mode?
Right. And Herbert's like one of the new young stars of the league. So why would the league turn a blind eye to that? I don't understand that at all. Why they wouldn't. This isn't like, I realize that Lamar doesn't get the calls, and a lot of the running quarterbacks don't, because they're moving around and they take a lot of hits, but Herbert's not that guy. Burrow's not that guy. And the league turned literally on a primetime game, turned a blind eye to what was going on.
Right.
I haven't seen that Cam Hayward got fired or got fined at all. So like I said, this always concerns me. Always concerns me. When Joey Porter ran out to the field and goaded Pac-Man Jones, and we ended up with the whole meltdown, that should have been offsetting penalties, because Joey Porter shouldn't have been out on the field. The league admitted that 3 days later. I don't want the league to admit, something happened, and then send a fine letter when we've already lost a player for a long period of time. So they need to get their act together. That concerns me. So that's a big concern of mine. Joe getting hurt. He held the ball too long a few times at Oakland, and I'll get into the good on how we can disrupt that.
Not Oakland.
Not Oakland. Vegas. Yes. You know what? I'm old, so I will always say San Diego.
The Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers.
It took 20 years for me to learn to say St. Louis Rams, and then they came back to LA. So by the time I finally was saying St. Louis all the time, they weren't St. Louis anymore.
Right.
So, by the way, that got settled. $800 million is what it costs to get out of town.
Yeah, God.
Hey, you know what? Kroenke could write that check today. So
huge. Yeah.
And he's going to get the shit. He was actually offering to settle it for a number like that and leave the NFL on the hook. So I think the NFL probably jumped on board, but that's a whole other thing.
This is great.
So we digress. Let's get back to it. So I've got TJ Watt, Steelers pissed and hungry, our O-line, and Joe getting hurt. Those are my things that I do not feel good about.
I agree with you. As far as, like I just said, the fact that the Steelers are pissed and hungry, and, you said that sometimes they play dirty, and I agree with that. And, anytime a team does that, or is prone to do that, they play dirtier and dirtier the worse it's going. Mm-hmm. So they're even though this division is really close. I mean, they're only a half game back of us because they got the tie.
Right.
But anytime somebody's back is against the wall, and they know that it is, they know their back is against the wall, then you got to worry about guys, but about it getting a little chippy. It's already a rivalry,
right?
And you got to worry about late hits on Burrow and stuff like that. I mean, I'll take a 15-yard personal foul all day, and I bet you we get 1 or 2 of those on Sunday. The thing is, I just don't want it to result in an injury.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. I don't wish injuries on anybody. I don't wish injuries on even Pittsburgh. I don't wish injuries on Cleveland or Baltimore. I don't wish injuries on anybody. And I want to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at, full strength. So, I don't mind that. I mean, I would rather take the win, but I don't mind that Watt is coming back, because I don't want any excuses.
Right.
I don't want to hear the whole like, yeah, but they didn't have this guy or they didn't have that guy.
I think that they specifically held out Hayden, Fitzpatrick, Mika, and Watt. I think that they didn't play on Sunday because they thought this was the more important game. So if they had a chance to get 2 or 3 of those guys back healthier for a game, they chose that Cincinnati was the more important one,
Well,
knowing that if they lost, because they already knew we had won. They knew that if they lost, they could recapture the second place and get it back into the wild card spot with a win on Sunday. So,
Minka was on the COVID list, I believe,
right.
If I'm not mistaken. So he might not have been eligible.
Yeah, I was just saying. I just know. Okay, so but the other two, Hayden and Watt, are injury related, and like I said, I think that they were held back. I don't think they rushed them out to play, because I think they realized, hey, look at the numbers. If this is the more important game, it would be nice to San Diego. I mean, nice to go into LA and win. I almost said San Diego again, but it's but they saw that as the better one. By the way, if you look right over there, I'm always getting my fingers on. There's the little towel that we got from the stadium at Vegas that says,
"Oh yeah, I've got one downstairs as well."
I had to bring one back. That was the Cox Cable Stadium giveaway right there. So if you didn't go to the game and you want one of those, I'm sure there's one on eBay. Go check it out.
Well, it was it's funny because they were laying over each seat, and I didn't even touch it until I knew that we won.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm going to leave it here if we lose because I don't want the reminder. But as soon as we won, I was like, "Yep, I'm taking this with me."
It seemed fitting to put it next to the I always got it backwards. The Houday in the UK flag. There you go. The Houday in the UK. So,
Mark, where did you get that Houday in the UK flag?
Too, because you got an extra one from somebody from Bengals West, and you said, "You know where this extra one belongs? It belongs there."
That's right. That was
from where he is on every video. So
that was given to me by Brian in Bengals West. Shout out to him. So,
shout out. There you go,
Brian Tabor. But yeah, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and transition us into the good.
Yes, please do.
The Bengals have not beaten the Steelers twice in the same season in 12 years.
Yeah.
And this is a real opportunity for Cincinnati to kind of turn the tide and show that, yes, we're stepping up with our new quarterback, with our new kicker, who was the special teams player of the week, with our running back, who was the ground player of the week.
Right.
This is a really good opportunity for us to say, you know what? We're not your little brother anymore, Pittsburgh. When to sweep them. We haven't swept them since 2009.
Right.
And it's a really, really good opportunity for us. And it's a great opportunity for Zach Taylor.
Right. No, this game is huge in terms of just one of the things that happened in the national media. Not that I care what the national media thinks, but when we beat Baltimore, we were the talk. Hey, my gosh, look at Cincinnati. And all we needed to do was not screw up the Jet game, because the narrative right after that was, oh, look, they go into Baltimore and win, but they're not consistent. So we need to show that we have staying power. And one of those things you do is you win games like this. You're at home and beat the Steelers and knock the Steelers. Believe me, this would be a serious blow to the Steelers' playoff hopes, because we would have the tiebreaker with them. Well, not that we would be tied with them, but it's division record wise, it helps us also. So this is we knock them down a game and a half. We could knock them down past the Browns. This is a really big game. The Steelers have a lot of teams they still have to play on their schedule.
And it's also the overall look too. I mean, this is a blow. I mean, if we were to win this game, and we'll get into predictions later, of course. But this is, if we were to win this game, that'd be a serious blow to Mike Tomlin. It'd be a serious blow to Ben Roethlisberger. It'd be a serious blow to what they're going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
And here's, Mark, I do it, but I feel like every week, but here's broken record take. 4th youngest team in the NFL.
Yeah.
4th youngest team in the NFL,
but
and we're playing well And it's almost like we're too young to know any better.
Well,
You know
that
what
I was
mean?
going to say. One of the things about being the fourth youngest team in the NFL, they don't remember the season
Right.
2, 3, 4 seasons ago. They were in college, most of our team.
Yeah.
So they were part of the whole, end of Marvin Lewis's career that saw 3 straight losing seasons. So they weren't part of that. So they don't know any of that. So
Yeah.
it actually works into our favor. So
Yeah, they're trying to write their own chapter. I mean,
Right.
they know, obviously they know the history of the Bengals. They know, what the Bengals went through in the 90s, or at least most of them do.
Right.
They know what we've gone through.
We know Burrow knows it, being a local kid. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, being an Ohio guy. They're aware of all that stuff, but they're like, that's not my team. That's not the team I'm on.
Right.
So I'm going to try to write a new chapter, and that's really exciting. You know what I mean? That they're pumped up about that.
So yeah, I've got a couple things here. I said, first of all,
Sure.
Mixon should be able to run the ball. I mean, we need to use, this is what I was talking about in terms of helping Joe up. We need to use the run to limit that pass rush. That has to be part of our game plan. So just like if you saw Zach Taylor's speech at the end of the game, we said that this was going to be tough, that we were going to have to keep hitting the run, hitting the dam, and eventually
30 carries.
And
30 carries for Mixon.
Yeah, and eventually the dam would break. We have to stay the course on this one as well. We should be able to pass the ball. Herbert had a field day. I mean, think about Mike Williams at the end. Now, I know that Hayden wasn't in there. I know that Fitzpatrick wasn't in there. And I know Watt wasn't in there. And their defense does change dramatically, but we still should be able to throw the ball. But Joe's got to get rid of it quickly. We have to scheme it up where it's 1, 2, 3, gone. 1, 2, 3. Before Watt can get in there, before any of that, he cannot stand there, dance around. You do not have that kind of time with this defense. So
yeah, and I wanted to mention, actually, for anybody out there, on the Bengals website, they've got Joe Burrow's press conference from earlier today. It's a really, really good one, and it's one where when you're done, you're finished. You're like, that's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. That's my
his
quarterback.
confidence level is just through the roof. I mean, he was fine admitting the things that he did wrong. He was accountable. But it was one of those things where the more and more he talked, you were like, man, this guy gets it. He gets it.
I've been feeling that from the beginning with him.
Yeah.
He says and does all the right things. He's got the right attitude. He's got that moxie, that demeanor. I mean, he's got it. And that's what you look for. Herbert has it.
The presser today was outstanding. It was outstanding.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that. Also, I said I feel really good if we get the D that we got back in the Raiders got their first third down conversion in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
I mean, we committed one.
Or they one for 8 for the game. Is that what they were
for 7? And we dominated time of possession. We only had one penalty for 5 yards. I mean, this is the kind of stats we're going to need to have in this game to prevail. So
a lot of that has to do with putting the rock in Mixon's chest 30 times in a game.
Right.
So we can't, if he gets stuffed 5 times in a row, we can't just abandon it.
Right.
And
I also throw it 5 times in a row, run it 5 times in a row. But unless you're getting 5 yards on every run, and then you just keep feeding it to them until they show you they can stop it. But we're going to have Lou and Zach are going to have to scheme this one up right. Listen, they rolled out Ryan Finley last year on a better Steeler defense and dominated the game because they schemed it properly. We need that kind of effort this week. This cannot be a brain fart I'll call it the meltdown like we did against the Jets, because we should have won that game. And the brain fart that happened the following week where we just thought showing up we were going to beat the Browns, who had the old Odell Beckham thing going on. And so they're going to need to put in the performance that they did last year with Finley.
Well, and speaking of the Browns, I just want to remind everybody, this is a huge weekend. I mean, we're playing against the Steelers. This division is tight. It's really, really tight. We're playing the Steelers. The Ravens are playing the Browns. And it's honestly, the entire division could swing on this Sunday's game. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee which way it's going to go, but it's going to be a huge swing one way or another for the two teams that win.
Yeah, no, and one of the things that that we saw was that this we're one of the few divisions. We might be the only division now where everybody's over 500, because there was the AFC West also, but we knocked the Raiders down to 5-5, so they don't have everybody over 500.
Yeah, I think the Broncos might be 4-6 also.
Oh, okay.
So maybe, but regardless, but yeah.
But there was a point in time where
that's widely viewed as the best division in football right now.
Right.
But it's just the AFC as a whole. Every division is just completely bunched up. So every game is extraordinarily important.
Right. So it's this is going to be huge. So, like I said, we could deal a huge blow to them, and we can also, this would put us at 3-1 division wise with 2 left to play. This is be huge. So we'd have the tie, and obviously with the tie, we probably won't tie the Steelers, but we'll have our 2 wins again.
I hope not. I can't believe you even just said that. That was frightening.
Well, no, I'm just saying in terms of the division record being the tiebreaker, but certainly the division record could, if we're not going to have a losing record against Baltimore, we would at worst split our games with them. So division record would be the next tiebreaker. And the Browns, I ultimately don't. You and I talked about this before we went on. I don't think the Browns are going to be there at the end of the year. It's not that I don't think they have the roster for it. I don't think
Mayfield is going to be there at the end of the year.
When we play the Browns in week 18, we're going to be facing Case Keenum. I'm convinced of it, because I just think at some point the Browns are going to have to shut him down. They've got a ton of injuries. They're bringing Kareem Hunt back this week, but these guys are all been banged up. So it's an injury reason is why I'm saying that, not a talent reason, not a coaching reason. I'm saying when we play the Browns again, I don't think that our division record, it's going to matter against them. But I do think that it could be the tiebreaker if we lost to Baltimore, but tied Baltimore in the end, the division.
Well, and I wrote about, I know we're about to get to our predictions, but I wrote about in our predictions article, which I'll put in the comments for anybody that wants to see it, where we pick every game, myself and 2 other writers for Primetime Sports Talk. I said, I've been waiting 3 weeks, and I don't wish injury on anyone. I don't wish injury on anyone. But Baker Mayfield is so beat up, right, and it just feels like in a divisional battle, this is the game where he lands wrong on that shoulder that's already fractured.
Right.
And he's got a busted knee. He's not going to be able to finish the season healthy. There's just no way, even though he keeps trying to get back out there, keeps trying to do it. And I give him, a ton of credit, because, when it's your throwing shoulder that's messed up, boy, that's awfully hard. That's really, really hard. I give him credit for that. I'm not a Mayfield fan or anything, but you got to give a dude credit for still
his other
going
shoulder
out there.
I think it's his other shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, but you land on it when you're running, all that. And you still, when you're throwing, you're still moving this arm. It's part of your, think about when you run, it's part of your body mechanics. So it's not like the shoulder doesn't do something while the
right. But one big sack coming from the opposite direction where you land on that shoulder, then you can't play through it anymore.
I remember the tackle.
I give him a lot of credit for playing through it so far.
Yeah, I remember the tackle where he falls and he hyperextends it. That aggravated what was already a sore shoulder, got it into a fracture.
Yeah, so. I give him a lot of credit for playing through it so far. I cannot see him finishing the season, and therefore, like you, I don't think the Browns are going to be a threat.
Right. I would still like him to win this week, though, because this is our chance to get to Baltimore before we play them in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. Well, with that, what's your prediction? Yours is already down in writing in an article that I haven't read yet, but go ahead and tell us what it is.
It is. I just finished the article today. I will put it in the comments for anybody that wants to see it. I see a typical AFC North battle, maybe a little more high scoring than the Bengals and Steelers usually are. I've got Cincinnati 24-20 over the Steelers. We sweep them for the first time since 2009.
Okay. I have a similar score. And just in terms of the reason why I came up with this is I looked at all the fantasy charts, because I have Mixon and Logan Wilson. We have individual defensive guys. I have Bates. So I'm looking to see what the touchdowns and everything are. Most of the fantasy stuff has Roethlisberger and the Steelers maybe scoring 2 touchdowns. That's right. What them have. And they have us scoring 3 touchdowns. So starting with that base, I went ahead and I put down 27. The reason why I was willing to go with the 3, and then because I've got a scoring on 5 drives. When you look at the stretch where the Steeler defense was dominant, it was against Denver, Seattle, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit. None of those are offensive powerhouses. So
not even close.
Again, you saw what happened when they now granted 3 guys were out, but you saw what happened when they faced a pure throwing offense and powerful offensive team in I almost said San Diego, Los Angeles. So you saw that. So I just think we should be able to score on 5 of our drives. We're going to move this ball. I think we could throw on this defense. I think if we have good play calling and good coaching and scheming, we should be able to run on this defense. So I said 27-17.
I agree. And also I wanted to note, this is in the article as well, but, Jamar Chase has been blanketed recently as far as people, recognizing what a game changer he can be. So for the last 3 games, he hasn't had, his best games of the season. He's still doing well. Don't get me wrong.
Had a touchdown in Vegas.
Yeah. But I think he only had like 2 catches.
Right.
I think he re-breaks out this game as long as Fitzpatrick isn't completely shadowing him over the top along with the cornerback.
Right.
So I think this is a Jamar Chase game right here.
All right, we're gonna see.
And that's what you want. You want your star receiver to step up in a divisional matchup.
Yeah. Now, their punt returner and kick returner McLeod is not playing in this game. And you know what? Maybe we get a special teams turnover on a muff or something. That's something I'm looking at. And I have this feeling that we haven't seen. We've had a couple big games out of him, but I think that this is a game where CJ Uzomah could emerge as a really key player. I think if they focus on Chase a lot and they're looking at Tyler Boyd and I just think that we're going to see CJ Uzomah. Those are just
CJ. Who's your mama?
Who's your mama? Hey, we got who's your mama? DJ, who's your mama? Now we got a CJ. Who's your mama? Who's your mama?
Yeah,
so that's it. That's what I've got. 27-17, and I really, 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 we want to be blowing that victory horn. We want to be at 7-4. This would be huge because then we get San Diego, Denver, and San Francisco. I mean,
yeah, I can't remember
who be able to win 2 of those 3. So
I can't remember who it was, but I wanted to give a shout out on our recap video that said, "This is no longer Steelers week. Yeah, this is Who Day week.
This is Who Day week." Oh, I like that. I didn't see that comment. I'm glad that you read that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I can't remember your handle on YouTube, but you put it great. I agree. It's time for the tide to turn. It's time for this to be a Bengals week and not a Steelers week.
Yes. And this and that all starts with the win this week. That's where it all starts.
100%.
So I want to also, before I forget, I want to thank everybody who came up and said hi to me at the Raider game. Hey, aren't you Mark? Or a LA Bengal fan, or you're the YouTube guy, or
YouTube guy.
I was a bunch, and there was somebody that you had exchanged with on Twitter that we talked to that I actually saw on the way out and talked to him for a while. So it was great. Nice. It was great catching up with all of you. I'm sorry I didn't make it to the tailgate, but was at the game, and I did get to meet people that I ran into at the game. So I'm going to just shout that out. So
great time.
With that, we will be back as always with a recap right after the game this Sunday. And
don't forget to subscribe, turn on those notifications.
Check out Primetime Sports Talk, but hopefully it's a win and we're 7-4 and we're either staying in second place or maybe if the Ravens lose, we would have the tiebreaker. We'd be in first again. So love to see it, baby. Love to see it. All right, with that, I'm going to say, Who Day, everybody?
Who Day?
See you Sunday.